Mitch coming in from not the Commander Score studio once again. Welcome to the show. So my apologies again for the audio. Some people are calling this Chill Mitch and really like this vibe, so that's awesome. That being said, I will be back at the studio at some point, just not right now. First up though, let's talk about an episode where I show you just the absurdity of this commander, the potential of this commander, and what crazy things you can do with Marvin Murderous Mimic. Now, this is one that stood out immediately in spoiler season to be a commander that can be feared. Should be feared, essentially, because it has so many different ways to combo. Luckily, and I usually don't say this because, I'm a 5-color player at heart, all right? Many of my favorite commanders of all time are 5-color. That being said, thank goodness this is not even 1 color. A 2/2 artifact creature toy for 2 mana has all activated abilities of creatures you control that don't have the same name as this creature. Now, that text is kind of redundant because, in Commander, I should say, because you, aren't going to have multiple Marvins in play. And I'm sure there's rules, the reasons as to why they named it that, because also you're not going to have that in Standard too, because even if you have multiple in the deck, unless you've got like Mirror Box, you're not going to be getting multiple Marvins. That being said, this is a combo haven, essentially, again, when it comes to decks that have more than 1 color. That being said, there are an absurd number of combos as well in colorless decks too. So again, do not underestimate this one. Now, I've mentioned this before. In the 99, if you're going up against a deck and it throws down Marvin Murderous Mimic and it's in a non-colorless deck, even if it's a colorless deck, it is in there literally to combo. It's going to be hard to argue against that. If someone else throws this down in a 5-color deck, I'm like, that's target number 1. This player is target number 1. If this player is using it as their commander, they also might be a high target, especially if they should get certain things in play, because again, it takes very little to combo with this. So little, in fact, that you can combo as early as turn 1. So let's jump into that combo. How it has to happen. Now, there are different variations on it too, and other cards to consider that combo with this crazy commander. Okay, to start off this combo, I'm just going to go card by card. First up, Ancient Tomb. Yeah, a great land. I will mention that this combo is actually decently expensive. That being said, you can combo pretty early, very early, in fact, in this commander deck if you are doing budget. I'll talk about some budget staples as well, and I'm actually going to have a deck tech list in the description below as well. That being said, Ancient Tomb, great land for comboing, taps for 2 color. Oh no, it deals 2 damage to us. Who cares? We're going to be comboing off on turn 1. Next up, Helm of Awakening. This is actually our very first play. We're going to get out Helm of Awakening. I love this card. It's nearly budget friendly. It used to be budget friendly for me even. Artifact for 2. Spells cost 1 less to cast. So reducing the cost of our spells is great, especially for an artifact deck, because again, artifacts, when you reduce them, Mana Vault by 1, then all of a sudden it is free. And what don't Magic players love more than a free spell? Mana Vault doesn't tap during tap step. We don't care. Cost 1. Taps for 3. That's literally all we care about. Again, there's all these other things about it not untapping. Who cares? It does not matter. All we need is just a burst of mana. And again, this is basically Black Lotus for us because, again, we get Helm of Awakening out. We get this out for free. And then we can tap this for 3 colorless mana, which is all we need in a colorless deck, really, colorless mana, for the most part. So then we've got some other cards we're going to be getting out. First up, again, for 1 mana, thanks to Helm of Awakening, we got Lightning Greaves. So Lightning Greaves, again, just costs 1. That's even more absurd. Equipped creature has haste and shroud. This gives our creatures haste, which is huge. Shroud is nice, but I highly doubt your opponents are going to be targeting things like as early as turn 1 anyways. So you're fine. Next up, we've got Palladium Mirror, which again normally costs 3, but does cost 2 thanks to Helm of Awakening. So we're going to get this out. A 2/2 large artifact creature mirror for 3, mana, taps for 2. Incredibly budget friendly card. And also one that, again, literally, if I am playing against a Marvin deck and I see this, I'm like, here comes a combo. Let's stop that. That being said, again, I'm on the side of Marvin right now in this episode. Here comes the combo. Oh, yes, let's do it. So With Palladium Mirror, again, we've got that Lightning Greaves. So let's attach that Lightning Greaves to the Palladium Mirror, giving it haste. And again, we were out of mana if you were, keeping track. This now allows us to tap for 2, which allows us to do 2 things. Number 1, we can play Pili Pala. Now, this is the real card when it comes to if I'm playing a Marvin deck and this comes out, it's like, yeah, there's literally no reason for this to be in the deck except for comboing. Really. This is what this card does. This card is notorious for combo. It's a 1/1 Scarecrow with flying for 2 mana, pay 2, tap, or sorry, I should say untap, add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. And by, utilizing our, mana metrics, we've got 1 mana left thanks to our Palladium Mirror tapping and paying 1 mana for Pili Pala thanks to Awakening. So then we can play Marvin, our commander. Now, Marvin is in play again, has all active abilities of all creatures we control that don't have the same name as this creature, which does include, of course, Palladium Mirror. That's not the same name. So now Marvin can tap for 2 and Pili Pala to untap, add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. We also have, again, Lightning Greaves that we can attach to our commander, giving it haste. So all of a sudden we attach this to our commander, which can, again, tap for 2, and with 2 mana, untap to add 1 mana of any color. Which means, on turn 1, we have infinite mana of any color. So, yeah, what can we do with that exactly? Well, we've got plenty different avenues to victory, and I'll actually talk about a couple of other ones here in a little bit. But I mean, at the very least, we can just go, Walking Ballista, you all lose. That's essentially all you need to do. Again, when you have infinite mana, you're like, okay, I'm going to color this, how do I win? Probably Walking Ballista. 0/0 construct that costs XX, and there's the X counters on it. You can also pay 4 if you really want to put counters on it, remove counters from it, 1 damage to our creature or player. So yeah, basically I do say infinite. Again, rules lawyers out there keep reminding me, yeah, there's no such thing as infinite in Commander. You got to pick a number. Sure, 8 trillion. I put 8 trillion into each X. It is coming into play with 8 trillion counters on it. You remove 8 trillion counters from it and deal 8 trillion counters to, or not trillion, but whatever divided by 3. You deal enough to take all your opponents out, okay? And if they have any creatures in play on turn 1, good for them. They're gone too. So yeah, being able to win in this way, again, can't happen with many commanders when it comes to being able to combo off in turn 1 in such spectacular fashion. But again, Marvin is, I'm not going to say built to combo, not like Stella Elite levels where it's like, okay, that's obviously broken. This isn't, I would say, broken as a commander because there are, again, limitations to colorless creatures. That being said, you can do some really cool things with them. And, yeah, you can even win on turn 1 with this commander in this fashion. Now, there are other ways to do so as well. I'm just going to point out some other cards to consider when it comes to working with this commander, even some that work within this combo that will win you the game on the spot right away. Let's jump into those. Okay, so let's start things off with another just card we can utilize in that same spot that would Walking Ballista, which is pretty funny, actually. A 2/4 Spider with Reach. We got Thrayan Spider, costs 3. Enters the battlefield. You and target opponent each create tap Power Stone token. You're welcome, opponent. Cool. Hooray. Good for us. Yay, we get that. Hope you utilize it well because it's going to be your last. Pay 7, look at the top 4 cards of your library. You may reveal an artifact card from among them, put in your hand, put the rest of them on your library in a random order. Yeah, that's quite fun because here's what's going to happen. Again, when we have that infinite mana, we're just basically drawing our entire library. I mean, we don't get any non-artifacts, but here's the thing. I'm sure you can find ways to draw the rest of your deck when you have every single artifact from your deck in your hand with this combo going on. So again, we can get whatever other pieces that we need to win. Yeah, there are plenty of them. I mean, here's the thing, too. I guess we could throw down Mindless Automaton. A great card as well. 0/0 construct for 4 mana. Enters with 2 counters on it. Pay 1, discard a card, get a counter on it, remove 2 counters from it, draw a card. There are plenty of ways to get more counters on this while we are already comboing. That being said, it, of course, can be part of a combo itself as well to essentially help us draw our library. Yeah, because again, keep in mind that Marv does have that ability as well. Again, both those abilities, actually. They're moving 2 counters is what we really care about. Discarding cards is great, too, to get counters on it as well. But of course, kind of like Pili Pala, we've got Farmstead Gleaner. This is a disgusting card when it comes to Marv. And again, if you see it and you're the opponent, you need to stop this. Pay 2, untap, put a counter on Farmstead Gleaner. So again, we've got yet another way to untap our commander. Again, that like Palladium Mirror type thing. But yeah, we are now getting, just at the very least, with Vladimir plus this, that's infinite counters on our commander, or again, rules lawyers out there, a trillion. And of course, if we've got Crystalline Crawler in play, that's infinite mana in that direction as well. 1/1 enters with counters on it for each mana spent to cast it. Color mana. Who cares? Move a counter from it. Add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. Marv cares about that. Marv also cares about put a counter on it. So yeah, there's different ways to go crazy with this too. But again, if we've got, however many counters we want on Marv and a trillion, whatever it is, congratulations, you've got a trillion mana. Cryptic Trilobite works in a similar fashion and actually can combo in easier ways too. 0/0 enters with X counters on it. Move a counter from it. Add colors, spends mana, activate abilities. Like maybe abilities like Farmstead Cleaner. So yeah, if we have any way for our commander to just tap to get a counter on it, we can, move a counter from it, tap it, essentially. Yeah, we can do that as well. Untap it, we get all these things. And then also when it comes to comboing with that, yeah, sure, give it back to the minus automaton, draw your deck. You know what to do from there. There are plenty of different ways to go crazy with this commander, and a lot of great budget ways as well. I'm going to be highlighting some of those here right now, and then also again, I'm going to remind you that in the link below, there is a link below in the description that has the deck list for this commander that may not be able to combo on turn 1, but is incredibly budget friendly for you. So just a quick overview on some things that you might be able to, get out of this deck tech, this budget deck. Yeah, there are going to be some great cards in there that you might not expect, like a Crawling Barrens. Crawling Barrens is a really cool card with Marv because this, of course, can become a creature, which means that Marv says, hey, you're a creature, you don't have the same name as me. Yeah, I can use that ability too. Tap for a colorless, which again, any land that actually can become a creature is great with Marv because then that just essentially turns Marv into a mana dork that can tap for 1. Unfortunately, not for 2. I mean, if you've got anything that can double up that mana, yeah, that's great as well. Of course, can tap for 2, like the Pili Pala combo essentially. But being able to pay 4 to put 2 counters on this, then you may have become a 0/0 elemental creature until end of turn, still a land. Yeah, you can just use this to also get counters on Marv as well, and I've already shown why that's incredibly effective. Again, Cryptic Trilobite kind of essentially mana usage. Yeah, you can do some pretty crazy infinite things with this as well. And again, it is just a land. This does not take up any spot in your deck. It is colorless. This taps for a colorless. It's the same thing as a waste essentially, but it also gives you an awesome, potentially game-breaking ability. Next up, speaking of game-breaking, Toymaker. This is a really cool card, and it just explodes the potential of this kind of a deck. A 1/1 Spell Shaper that costs 2 mana. Pay 1 tap, discard a card from your hand. Target non-creature artifact becomes an artifact creature. Power type is each equal to its converted mana cost until end of turn. Keep in mind, Marv also does get this ability. You might not need that with Marv, though, because once you activate this and target the correct thing, I'm talking maybe like, let's say, a mana rock like Dreamstone Hedron that can tap for 3. Now, all of a sudden, Marv can tap for 3. And of course, that opens up a lot more possibilities when it comes to comboing. I mean, you also can just target, Urgolem's Eye, Hedron Archive, any of those things as well. And then, yeah, you got another Pili Pala in the deck, essentially. Next up, Tezzeret Simulacrum. Yeah, again, there aren't too many Tim effects in these colors, or colorless, I should say. But we also have an effect like this one. Hey, a 2/3 Golem that costs 3. Tap target opponent loses 1 life. And we're not going to worry about controlling a Tezzeret Planeswalker because, again, when we are comboing, when we've got the way to just tap our commander as many times as we could please, well, yeah, we can just take our opponents out with that. So yet another avenue to victory with this commander. Endbringer, though. There we go. A very spicy card. A 5/5 Eldrazi for 6 mana in total. It does untap during each of the player's untap step, which is huge. It can tap to ping any target for 1. So again, there's that Tim effect. You can also pay 1 to tap and target you can attack or block this turn. Pay 2 colorless tap to draw a card. Here's the thing. Again, in combos that we've got, infinite colorless mana, even like the Cryptolite one, the one where we can actually just say, the Cryptic Trilobite, we are taking off those counters. We are getting colorless mana infinitely. Oh, darn. But you know what we can't do? We can only use it to activate abilities. Oh, here's an activated ability. Cool. Let's utilize it. Let's make sure that we actually get a lot of value out of it. Like, hey, okay, I mean, I guess your creatures can't attack or block, but more so, yeah, let's just draw our entire deck. Again, once you are set up properly and you give Marv all the abilities you need to give Marv, there are some truly, truly cool things that you can do with this commander. And again, like I showed you, hey, with the right hand, obviously, Marvin Murderous Mimic can combo off on turn 1. And again, just a reminder on that hand really quick, we've got Ancient Tomb, Helm of Awakening, Mana Vault, Lightning Greaves, Palladium Mirror, Pili Pala, and Walking Ballista, or again, a combination of a lot of other things. There's other ways to combo up this commander. Now, this is my time to hear from you, so in the comments below, let me know how you would combo off with Marv. Again, let me know what combos you can think of, even with less cards than this. So yeah, let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. And of course, as always, thanks again. And well, remember that there is that budget deck tech list in the description below that link. And of course, as always, thanks again and have a good one.
This show and episodes like this one are possible thanks to viewers like you. If you're looking for an easy way to help support this show, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Also, hit that bell notification icon so you don't miss any new episodes. You can also go check out our playmats and other merchandise at thecommandersquarters.com. We also have a ton of brand new t-shirt designs in stock, so make sure you check out those as well. Another easy way to support this show is with our TCG Player affiliate links. So whether you're buying a deck or individual cards, you can use this general link right here or one in the description. And the final way that you can support this show is by supporting us directly by becoming a patron. There are many benefits to being a patron, and I truly couldn't do this without all of their support.